Hey y'all, this is the Catskills Mountains. It's a cabin that Matt from 2 Feet Outdoors, I love his channel. Him and his girlfriend stayed up there, and the beauty is unreal, as you can see. There's a clubhouse where you can work out in there if you stay there. That's free, and you can use the paddleboard or the stand-up paddleboard for free, and that's what you see on the dock. If you rent there, you can use the amenities for free, which is really cool. Free is affordable, but the beauty is just unbelievable. It was cold there, and he jumped in the water because he's nuts. He's freaking nuts. So I'm going to tell you something that has me puzzled, and I'm not going to go on a tirade about the state that things are in right now. I'm just not going to go on a tirade. I'm just going to use common sense. We're going to do something rare, and we're going to use common sense today. I don't I don't understand why Americans don't understand why you have to have laws in place for people who are not from your country. We've always had laws. We always had barriers in place. Every country, except the US, every country with some sense has rules and laws and regulations that you must follow if you are not from there. Canada are our neighbors. But you not gonna stroll up in Canada with no paperwork and expect the red carpet rolled out for you, a free place to stay, free cell phones, free meals, vouchers for food and clothing and whatever the hell else you feel like. Go on a shopping spree. Help yourself. Try going up there and let me know how that works for you. Spoiler alert, it won't. And if anybody had common sense, and for those of you who do, thank you so much. But for people who have any common sense at all, they would know that that is a security issue, if nothing else. Okay? If you're smart, you're not just going to let somebody come into your home. You're not going to say, well, who are you? I'm Bob. Oh, well, Bob, you look honest because you got a blue shirt on. So, yeah, you could come into my home. In fact, I'll show you where everything's at. And you can stay here for free if you want. Eat as much groceries as you want. Take all my clothes. I don't really care. Help yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do that if they got a brain in their head. Well, what makes you think that it's okay to let foreign people come in here and you just roll out the red carpet? They ain't paid one motherfucking red cent. They didn't pay one fucking tax. Not one. And Americans who are brainwashed, not the smart ones, they're not brainwashed. But the ones who are brainwashed have the balls to fight ICE and to protest people getting arrested who are here illegally. Hey, dumbass, that's what every country around the world does. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? That is a security issue. You don't just let every Tom, Dick, and Harry come up in here. They don't have to have no paperwork. They don't have to have jack shit. They could just come up in here and have a smile, and that's enough. The ease in which people are brainwashed, to me, is frightening. People can look at cults, for example, and say, oh my God, how do you get sucked into that? How do you work and somebody encourages you to give your paycheck to them? How do you let somebody marry your 12-year-old daughter who's the leader of the cult and you feel like that's an honor? Cults are notorious for abusing people and murdering them. But hey, don't worry about those details. You wonder how can so many Americans get brainwashed? Look at the people in cults. They are no different than cult members. You tell them what they want to hear, you sound convincing, and they fall for it. No other country around the world is going to let you go over there with nothing. No paperwork, nothing. You ain't paid jack shit in taxes. But we love your haircut. We love your blue shirt. So come on up. Come on up in here. You don't have to pay for nothing. Not a damn thing. And for people who think that that's okay, I really question your sanity. I really question your sanity. And I do believe that anybody and everybody who has a problem with ICE doing their job, they need to be arrested quick, fast, and in a hurry. If you impede an investigation and you get smack dab in the middle of it, you could get arrested too. Now, do I believe, because we're using common sense today, do I believe that people who are legally here need to be deported because they were originally, their roots are not from here? Absolutely not. They're legally here. They have paperwork to show it. They have a visa, work visa, or they have, what is it called? Citizenship? A U.S. citizenship? Where in your logical mind do you think that somebody deserves to come up in here and they haven't worked at all and they've not, they haven't worked for it, but they just gonna be handed everything? We used to be okay with that until people started getting brainwashed. And a specific party is hell bent on destruction, which is the same reason we've got plenty of judges who are soft on crime. And you know what? Let me tell you something else. For all the dumb asses, the brainless wonders who want to blame the current admin, that shit didn't start with him being soft on crime. That started with the previous. That started with Joey. So you're pointing fingers in the wrong direction because you're brainwashed. So if somebody tells you that Donald Duck, is the president of the United States, you'll believe it because anybody could twist your brain because your brain is soft. But smart people know Donald Duck is not the president. And they also know that the being soft on crime started previously, along with a myriad of hundreds, if not thousands, of laws and things that were changed that don't do anything but destroy the country. It's not to your benefit, it is to your disadvantage. And my thing is, again, we're going to use common sense. My thing is, if you like to cause destruction and you hate the country that you're in, why don't you just get the fuck out instead of staying here and raising hell and being soft on crime, releasing violent people back into the streets so all of us have our lives at jeopardy? You know, the the loitering that was done, the violence that was done. They were soft on crime back then. They told you could not defend your own business against criminals. That's designed to destroy Americans. And nobody has enough intelligence to say, something's wrong with this picture. That's the bread and butter going on your table. And these fools are telling you you can't protect your own business. Everybody conveniently forgets that shit because they want to focus on somebody else. They always, always, always want to overlook the previous, even though that's where the bullshit started. We're going to overlook it because that don't have nothing to do with what's going on right now. You're brainwashed. Simple. Who in the hell are you that you would tell someone they can't defend their own business against criminals? Everybody can pretend they don't remember that. I remember that. Everybody can pretend, not everybody, excuse me, people that are brainwashed, the cult members, they can conveniently forget that food was deliberately held up in the stores. While the previous blamed the truck drivers, guess what? Guess what, sweetness? It had nothing to do with the truck drivers. It had everything to do with he would not give them permission to, take the produce and the products off of the pallets and off of the ships. He didn't give them permission. He held that shit up for weeks and weeks. And everybody, excuse me, the cult members are still behind somebody like that. Somebody who took food off the shelves, took baby food off the shelves. How are people supposed to feed their babies? You know what? Y'all can forget that shit if you want to, if your brain is twisted, but I don't forget none of that shit. Everybody who's brainwashed is like, yeah, the current guy, what a bad guy. Really? Are you blind, deaf, and dumb? Did you completely forget all the shit that went down before? The land owned by a certain country next to every single military base, which is a major security breach, and not everybody, I'm sorry, I keep saying everybody, that's not true, just the brainwashed cult members think that that's perfectly okay. Obviously, when all that shit was going down, Homeland Security was totally disbanded because they didn't have a problem with it. They were just like, something flying in the air that was supposedly a weather balloon. Oh, really? Really? The only reason that somebody said something about that, it became public is because someone reported it. I don't know if they reported it to the media or I don't know, but it came out publicly. And they tried to lie and say that was a weather balloon. It wasn't no freaking weather balloon. Another country was permitted to spy, which is also a breach of security. And people think, brainwashed people think, there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. How would you like somebody spying on your house? How would you like somebody coming into your yard? That's not supposed to be there. Oh, that's a problem. But it's not a problem if there's a major, 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 massive security breach. That is not a problem. That's not a problem. People see what they want to see, and it's really frightening how they are just okay with all the abuse. Perfectly okay with it. Absolutely okay with it. Not to mention the biochemical warfare. And people had to be, they couldn't leave their house and the whole bit. You could, but you had to, do the bare minimum and then carry your butt back home. But people were stupid and didn't listen. So you had people partying on college campuses and having a great old time when y'all's asses were specifically told to not do that, to stay home or in your dorms or wherever you live, stay there and not hang out with people because we're trying to avoid, it's spreading, and people didn't give a shit. They just kept doing whatever they want to do. Anytime you use a disease to attack your own, that's biochemical warfare, and that should be grounds for treason. Treason in smart countries, not the United States, but in smart countries, treason is an executable offense, meaning you will be executed for that. Here in America, if you commit treason, no biggie. The horrific things that happened under that son of a bitch, and everybody's like, I don't know nothing about that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Really? Are you insane? You conveniently forget that you went to the store and the shelves were butt ass naked? You forgot that? Because you want to blame some fucking body else? And let me tell you something else. Let's drop this bomb in your lap. Someone mentioned this online and it made me go, you know what? There's a strong possibility that HIV was also a form of biochemical warfare. Did I go there? Yes, I did. When someone mentioned that, I was like, huh. All these weird diseases are popping out of nowhere. Anytime you do something to hurt your own people, that should be grounds for treason and execution. Who the fuck does that? You don't even need Hitler or anybody like that because you got your own country doing it to their own people. Do you honestly think anyone's going to bring that shit up? Especially to the higher ups who are untouchable. They can break every law. They can arrange for people to get murdered. That's what Barry did. The previous one who wasn't even born in America. Did I go there? Yes, I did. Since when? We're going to go there. Since when can you be born from another country? You're not even a citizen. And all of a sudden, you can be the top dude in a country that your ass wasn't even born in. We won't even talk about the crimes he's committed. Murder. Couple of murders. And a historian told my friend that Barry's father is an assassin around the world. Any place in the world that you want it done, you get with him and he will make it happen. Okay? He'll make it happen for you. This mofo wasn't even born here and he got to be at the top of the pyramid. Do you really want to talk about his cook? Chocolate guy? He was gonna quit, resign from the position. He was gonna write a tell-all book. That's not really something you want to do with somebody whose father is an assassin. Anyway, he ended up so-called paddleboarding, I think it was, SUP, stand-up paddleboard, at night, which people don't do that. I don't care what nobody says. Nobody does that at night, especially in the ocean where there's sharks and every damn thing else. Nobody does that at night. They don't. They freaking don't. And all of a sudden, he has a terrible accident and he drowned. Oh my God. Oh, no, the fuck he didn't. He was murdered. This son of a bitch could commit murder. They could do biochemical warfare. They could rob you of the food that you need in your belly. And it is perfectly okay with the cult members because they need their head examined and they need to go to one of those camps that actually deprograms people so that they could start using their brain. I am so tired. I'm going there. Oh, shit. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either, motherfucker. I'm so tired of seeing all up and down the internet people blaming the current. Now, has he done multiple things that I don't like? Yes. But let me drop this bomb in your lap too. There will never in your lifetime or anyone else's lifetime, there will never be someone in charge who you think is perfect. It's easy to sit in your mama's basement with Cheeto fingers playing on your computer that your mommy bought you and saying things like, oh my God, what a terrible person, what a terrible person. It's easy for you to do that when no one is perfect, regardless of what you were told. And you need to learn to think for yourself and stop letting other people tell you what to think. The ease in which people get brainwashed is just stunning to me. It just floors me how people can get so bent in their head because they allow people who are horrible to make you believe a certain thing and whatever, and you're okay with all of that. Hop on one foot and bark like a dog. Okay, roof, roof, roof. Where's your spine? Weren't you born with a spine? People are brainwashed. It's easy, easy, easy. They don't see beyond what they were told. They go by what they were told, and so far as they're concerned, that is the law. That is it. There's another disease that there's a strong possibility was also done on purpose. And I don't remember if it was, I don't remember what it is, but it's a chronic illness, and I can't think what it is right now. But they all knew that all that shit was going to happen. As a matter of fact, Barry was seen overseas across the pond when all of that was in the works, where everybody was told to stay home. Don't go out unless you have to. Somebody released a picture of him plotting and planning that whole situation. He was also romantically involved with, Barry was romantically involved with Sean Combs, which is why his marriage to his husband, because Michelle's not a woman, his marriage to his husband was on the rocks for a bit. And Michael, which is the real person's name, not Michelle, Michael need to watch himself because y'all see what happened to the cook. You know what happened to the cook. And go ahead and divorce that individual and see what happens to you. So they probably won't get a divorce because Michael's life will be on the line. He will have a tragic, deadly accident, quotation marks, accident. People have better start looking at what's going on behind the scenes and stop, like I said, stop letting people tell you what to think. You got to grow some balls. And even if your parents are brainwashed, you don't have to be brainwashed. If they want to live in la la land, let them. Let them. Do extensive research and you would be absolutely horrified by what people so-called in charge are capable of and what they've done historically. You would be horrified. Your jaw would hit the floor. These same people that you think are thebomb.com, they're the best thing in the world, they have been notoriously, they've done horrible, horrible crimes against humanity. And overlooking it all doesn't make it disappear. Regardless of you pretend that you didn't hear, see, or nothing. Thank God for, and I'm talking about the food shortage that was done on purpose. One of the truckers were being blamed, which is all a crock. Okay? It's all bullshit. One of the truckers had his cell phone and he recorded and he said, "We are getting blamed because the food's not on the shelves. But if you notice the barges out there, all those pallets, we're not permitted to unload those." While this son of a bitch that everybody thinks is Jesus himself is telling you that he's blaming it on the fucking truck drivers. They ain't got shit to do with the truck drivers. And yet everybody thinks that that fool right there, previous, he was sitting on the right hand of God himself. Because that's what they were told to think. And they can't think for their self. So they're going to do what somebody else told them to think. Which is really frightening that somebody can bend your brain that easily, like your brain is a pipe cleaner. You got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Everybody want to blame the current. Blame, blame, blame. Point fingers, point fingers, point fingers. Because they don't want to acknowledge what happened before because they can't wrap their brain around somebody being that evil. And in their mind, he is Jesus himself. One of the commandments specifically says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me," which means you don't worship somebody regardless of who they are and regardless of what position they have. They are not God. I hate to tell you this. I know you thought that Joey was the best thing that ever happened to the entire world, but I'm here to fucking tell you, you're living in a fucking fantasy world, number one. And number two, you're not supposed to worship anybody other than God himself. And while you're sitting here putting blindfolders on and a blindfold on and sticking your fingers in your ears and going la 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 because you don't want to see no hear no evil, all this, the evil was done whether you want to pretend it wasn't done or not. We were 2 seconds from being handed over to somebody else. 2 seconds. And I'm going to tell you something before I go. And I've never shared this before. I have never, ever, ever shared this before. But I'm going to share it now. I've never told anyone this before. When I was a kid, I had a dream that officials came to our homes. And if you were not willing to believe what they told you to believe, you were executed on the spot. I was a child. I don't even know where that grown-up thought came from. I'm a child. I was a freaking child. Then fast forward to when Joey the Destructo was in, and he was desperate to hand us over to someone else. Those same individuals could have done exactly what my dream was when I was a kid. This is what you're going to believe. This is how we operate. If you've got a problem with it, we're just going to execute you right here, right now. And because people worship that son of a bitch, they were perfectly okay with the idea that that could possibly happen. I died filled with pride. No, you died because you were brainwashed. And you died because you believed everything that came out that fool's mouth and you weren't looking at what was actually happening. You were told what to look at and what to listen to and what to say. You were programmed. I'm going to try really hard to have patience with these dumbasses all up and down the internet saying stupid shit about the current and oblivious to what the previous did. Totally oblivious. And for the cult members, that particular party that you are addicted to and a member of, they are the reason why people are not getting food stamps for November. Because they believe that illegal people should just stroll up in here and do whatever the hell they want to do and get the red carpet rolled out. And if they do crimes, spank them on the wrist and tell them, hey, be nice. It's all part of the destruction of the American people. That's the reason why everything is on pause right now. People are literally working for free because of you cult members and that particular group of demons who are fighting for people who haven't paid a dime to come up in here and get the royal treatment. No other country in the not United States, no other country in the world, around the world, does this stupid shit. Nobody. Not Canada, not Kenya, not Japan, not Saudi Arabia, Nobody in Argentina, nobody in Jamaica, nobody no goddamn where let you just stroll up in here. No one does that. Except dumbass, brainwashed, stupid ass Americans. Now, for those of you who are smart and realize that you need to come in the legal way just like every goddamn body else who came up in here, thank you for using your brain. Thank you for not being brainwashed. Thank you for your brain not being a pipe cleaner. Thank you for not being illogical and then getting mad because people are telling you you're illogical. Thank you for using your brain. Unfortunately, that's not a common thing. People like being abused. They like their rights being taken away. They like to have to fight for something to eat. They think that's fucking cool because they're stupid. All up and down the internet, the current, blamed for every fucking thing. Really? We're still reeling from what the previous did. We're still reeling from that. When laws were, well, excuse me, I'm sorry. In a fantasy world, we actually had laws. And if you committed treason, your dumb ass was going down. You seen what happened to that, what's his name, Shahogi? I can't remember his name. He's from Saudi. He was a journalist. Brutally tortured. Brutally dismembered. Coerced into coming to Saudi because he was in love with this girl and they knew that they could manipulate him because he loved that girl and he's not thinking straight. So they enticed him to come over there for some quotation marks paperwork. And then he was tortured and murdered that day. You know why? Because of treason. In America, if you're a higher up, you can commit treason and there will be no ramifications for it. It's perfectly okay. In normal countries, that's not going to fly. It's just not going to fly. I just pray. That's all I could do. That's the only weapon I have is to pray that there's no more biochemical warfare, no more diseases that are deliberately created to harm and the other things that we've all suffered through. We should not be in the situation we're in because we're fighting for people who never paid a goddamn dime in taxes. That's asinine and stupid. Every country in the world is laughing their asses off at America. Laughing their asses off, going, look at those stupid asses. Look at them. Including the brainwashed people that are thinking it's okay for you to just stroll up in here and you ain't paid goddamn dime and you're coming in illegally, but it's okay. Only dummies and brainless people think that's okay. Like I said, stroll your ass up in Canada and see how long they keep your ass there when you ain't got no papers. You have Zippo. If you think for 2 seconds that they're going to roll out the red carpet for you and give you free everything, you have smoked so much crack your brain has vaporized in your head. No other country does that dumb shit. Because they're smart. It's a security issue. We're not going to just let you stroll up in here. No. Some countries actually have security. We don't, but other countries do. We could learn from their example. Y'all take care. Bye.